The self-improvement industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is for this very specific reason why there are so many different tools out there in the world when it comes to self-improvement. Of course, there are books, and books can take up the vast majority of it because books have a way of changing the world in a big way. Some books that have come to mind for me have been How to Win Friends and Influence People, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Secret, and there's so many out there. There are a lot of books that a lot of people will be talking on end about that have changed their lives and have really improved their quality of life. However, there are other tools outside of books that we can use for our own self-improvement journey. And today I want to be focusing more on those specific tools outside of just books. Because books, yeah, there's plenty of videos out there that talk about books. And I will probably make a video revolving around books at some point in time, but not right now. So a couple of other tools that I think are important with self-improvement are things like apps, courses, articles, as well as just videos such as this. So the first one I want to be touching on is apps. Apps have come a long way, and there's literally an app for every single possible thing that you can think of. There are a lot of apps out there, and I use a couple of apps myself for my own improvement as well. I have an app to help me with tracking water intake. I have an app that revolves around setting goals and creating a to-do list. Those are the two main apps that I use for the most part, but there's obviously going to be a lot of other apps out there that can help you with building up specific habits when it comes to like exercising, to ensuring that you remember everything, and so on and so forth. And the best thing about a lot of these apps is that these apps are absolutely free to use. So it doesn't really cost you anything, and they can help you with developing a specific habit for yourself. The second tool I want to be talking about are courses, and to a lesser extent, seminars as well as ebooks. These are very helpful tools because they are very specific as far as like what it is that they want to be talking about, what they're geared towards. They are very specific things that are incredibly helpful when we actually take the time to be listening and applying that information. Of course, it's also important to be looking at who the instructor actually is. No matter if the course instructor is a big name person, if they're not going to be caring that much about a student, then it's really difficult for you to make a connection and get a lot of value out of it, because if you apply that information and you're somehow stuck after applying that information and you're not too sure where you want to be going, it's also important to be reaching out to that person for help. And if that person is not willing to help you, then that information, it can easily go to waste and not help you a whole lot compared to someone who will actually take the time and energy to helping you and instructing you and mentoring you and guiding you. So it's really important to be looking at a course in that regard, seeing whether the person is actually willing and actually open to instruction, to feedback, and to grow as a person along with growing and helping you out as well. The third tool that I want to be focusing on is articles, and much like with ebooks and articles, obviously those pertain to like reading and sort of the same elements as books. But at the same time, I would argue that reading an ebook or reading an article takes a lot less time compared to actually reading a book. For books, you have to spend several hours reading through it. It's basically a really, really long article on like multiple different subjects all crammed into one specific area. Whereas with articles, you will probably be spending several hours as well, but it's through a widespread amount of articles, and you can stop at whenever you want. Because as far as articles go, they are very specific in what they want to be instructing and how they want to be conveying it. And they normally expand on ideas and concepts and strategies a lot more than just the ordinary book, because as far as a book goes, a book needs to be more general, it has to be more broad, and even though that's some of the cases with articles as well, they are still very specific, which is still key, and you can still extract a lot of information and twist it around for your own use a lot faster than a book. And the same goes for an ebook as well. And the last tool I want to be focusing on is videos. And videos are incredibly helpful because, much like articles, they are very niche as well. They're very focused on a specific topic. And again, they don't normally take a whole lot of time. And normally they are very entertaining as well because it's a video, and it's a lot easier to process words or words that are spoken to you, much like with seminars and courses, compared to actually just reading. Because obviously there's going to be noise in the background, and that's better for you because you're listening to those sorts of things, and it's a lot easier for you to process that information. So videos, I think, have come a long way as people have learned like what goes into making a really good video and making information stick a lot better compared to articles. So in the end, these 4 tools I think are very important to be looking at and to be using for our own self-improvement journey outside of just books. Don't get me wrong, books are incredibly helpful and they are valuable tools. However, all these other tools that I'm talking about are normally free for use, and to get access to them, it's normally free, or if you want to be getting like some premium upgrade stuff that are available through a lot of those things, they're generally pretty cheap compared to a book, where with a book you have to be spending a little bit more money, sometimes even double or triple the normal like subscription price compared to some of the other subscription services. So it's for this particular reason why I think it's important to not underestimate or completely dismiss these other tools, as they can be very helpful with our own improvement journey.